Welcome back here to Automotive Mondays at Sinclair Community College in Building 20. I'm Justin Morgan, the chairperson of the automotive program, and today I want to talk about something that you guys are probably going to be experiencing very soon with the summertime coming around the corner. So most of you guys are going to be starting up your AC system before too awful long, and some of you are going to notice that when you do that, you're going to smell a musty smell coming from your AC vents. And what is that? Well, we're going to discuss a little bit about how you can address that concern and what that smell is, and so let's get started. So the component that we're going to talk about today is a cabin air filter. Its job is to basically filter the air that's coming in the vehicle. What kind of air and what kind of pollutants are we talking about? So one of the things that you want to address is the pollen that's entering your vehicle, sometimes called a pollen air filter or cabin air filter. These are what we replace in our vehicles. Now, not every vehicle has these, so you have to consult your owner's manual, but most new vehicles and higher end vehicles will have these on your vehicle. So we're going to take a look at what we need to do. So here's an extreme condition of what we have as far as an issue with the cabin air filter. This vehicle had about 50 to 60,000 miles, and this, of course, is from a varmint of some sort, probably a mouse that's been living inside your HVAC plenum, and they, of course, making a little nest. Now you can see one of the most common issues that happens is when a car gets parked underneath a tree predominantly, is we collect a lot of leaves. So this air is being drawn in through your blower motor that produces the air that comes out your vents. So what we want to make sure is about once a year or every 15 to 20,000 miles that you're servicing these. Now, some of you say, well, that's probably too much for me to do. In most cases, most consumers can do this with relatively ease, and we're going to locate the cabin air filter and give you an idea on how to do that on this 2016 Chevrolet Malibu. So let's get started. All right, so on this 2016 Chevy Malibu, the cabin air filter is actually located behind the glove box. So what we need to do is drop the glove box down first. We're going to actually release some locking tanks to allow it to drop all the way down and rotate down. And then our air plenum, where the air comes in from up top here, it's actually going to be distributed via the blower motor through our vents and our ducts right here. So we're going to go ahead and drop this down, push the tangs in on each side, and there's a locking mechanism we're going to release here. I'm going to let this fold down, and these are the tangs I'm talking about, and this mechanism right here. Now we're going to go ahead and access the cabin air filter. And there you have it. Now, one thing that you want to pay close attention to is the airflow. Ideally, you can either look at the old one to make sure it was installed correctly, but in this case, the air is actually flowing down this way, and so there's an actual arrow on the cabin air filter that we're going to go ahead and replace. Typically, you can buy these from most local parts stores for about $15 to $30, and they should be replaced about once a year, as I mentioned earlier. Or on this one, the interval is about 22,000 miles. So most people, my recommendation is go ahead and do it in that spring or summertime right before the air conditioning's kicking on, and that would be a good idea to keep that in mind for each spring and summer. So now once we get our new one, we take it, all right, so I wanted to show you one last thing here, and that is that the air that enters your vehicle is actually up here on the base of the windshield, typically on the passenger side, called the cowl area. If you park under a tree, the problem is a lot of leaves will collect at the base of the windshield, they'll break down and they sit right up here, and then that will actually collect onto your cabin air filter. And something else to keep in mind, if you're noticing a decrease in airflow that's coming out your vents, that could be a clogged air filter, or a clogged cabin air filter. Or if you're noticing a smell, probably one of the first things to try to address is that cabin air filter. If the smell remains, you're probably going to have to take it to your local service repair facility to have them take a closer look at it and see if there's something going on with our evaporator. So without a cabin air filter, besides having that stuff collect on the actual cabin air filter, where it would collect is on your evaporator core. The evaporator core's job is to actually cool the vehicle for whenever you want air conditioning. Just like a cold drink that's on a hot, humid day out in the summertime, this actually will collect moisture on it. With dog hair, oils, pollen, stuff that's generated on this will actually grow some bacteria and sometimes even mold. So the benefit of having the cabin air filter is we keep it off this moist, damp, dark component that's down in the HVAC plenum, and we try to collect that stuff right here. That's something that's serviceable. So this is very hard to service. This is a time-consuming process for service technicians on most vehicles, whereas this can be less than a 5-minute job. All right, so thanks for watching Automotive Mondays, and we look forward to tuning in next week for our next video. We'll see you then.